Hey, I'm Benas and today we're talking about investing and stocks and how I got my first $1,000 invested. But before we begin, a little disclaimer. This video is only for informational and entertainment purposes only. I am just another guy on YouTube talking about my own experiences, and I'm not any kind of a licensed professional or financial advisor, so everything you do is at your own risk. Personally, my app of choice is Revolut Trading, so everything I'm gonna showcase in this video is gonna be through this particular app. However, you can use the same strategies and buy the same stocks through any other trading platform, so don't feel too attached to Revolut. So in this video, I want to cover four main things: my stock portfolio overview, how I invested my first $1,000, what mistakes I made along the way so you can avoid them, and what is my investment strategy going forward. I have my phone with me, and let's get started by going to Revolut app. And of course, this is what everybody wanted to see. This is my current stock portfolio. Currently, I have $2,338.22, and of those $2,338, I already made $718 as profit. But let's not waste any time and let's go straight to transactions. And if we go into all of my transactions, right at the bottom, you can see that I started investing last year, 2019, in September 22nd. And that was the first time I added any money to this trading platform or any trading platform at all. And it was $300. However, after that, I didn't really do anything. I bought like 3 stocks, $100 each, and kind of left it there. And only this year in January, I actually started to take investment a little more seriously, and I wanted to make it more regular. So as you can see, in January, I started with $60. Then I added $139 in February. March was quite a big one. It was $120. And then April was just beyond me. Another almost above $300 added to the account. And as you can see, I kind of started to go consistent and kind of adding money every single month. However, in May, that was when I actually reached $1,000 in my investment account. As you can see, in May 15, I added another $108.33. That is when I actually officially passed $1,000 invested into Revolut Trading. By May 15th, I had $1,061.97 invested into Revolut Trading. But let's continue. And as you can see, in June, I added another $100, another $60 on the 8th of June, and then a day later, $35 more. Then we go to July, and July invested another $100. Then I added $40. We move on to August. August was quite a big month. I think I invested over $200 here as well. And that's kind of it. So as you can see, it actually took some time, more than half a year, for me to actually invest my first $1,000. And now my total sum is above $2,000 invested. So it does take time. However, if you already have $1,000 just laying around, you can actually do that in one day instead of kind of going like me and investing bit by bit. So if you have those $1,000 laying around and you want to invest them, my suggestion would be to go and buy 10 different stocks worth $100 each. With fractional shares, you don't really need to consider the actual one stock price of a company, because you can invest whatever amount you want. However, before you go and actually start creating a Revolut account or any other account and start investing, I want to cover mistakes I made along the way so that you can avoid them, as well as what is my personal strategy going forward with Revolut Trading and my investments. First mistake is don't invest in companies you know nothing about. It doesn't matter what somebody suggests on a YouTube video or you hear some other companies. If you know nothing about that particular company or index fund or whatever, don't invest. I actually made this mistake when I invested in Union Pacific Company, which I literally, until this day, I don't know what it is or what it does. I just heard it on YouTube video and decided to put some money in it. But then after a month or so, I actually sold those shares because I knew nothing about the company. I literally paid money to, I have no idea what. I'm not following that company. I'm not involved in it and at any point or any time. And I figured I don't want to keep my money somewhere where I don't even know what's gonna happen. So never invest in companies you know nothing about. My second mistake was buying and selling in short term. So there's actually nothing bad with that. There is a thing called day trading where you can actually buy a stock at the same day and sell it at the same time, or even, you know, a bit longer period. But that was not a strategy I was going forward, and I kind of lost track of it, and I started selling because I saw some gains and I was afraid to lose it. So again, if you don't know what you're doing or you haven't set a strategy before investing, always set yourself some kind of a goal or a deadline or whatever, because if you don't do that, you may panic and you may sell or buy or do whatever, and that can actually ruin your whole portfolio. So one of the examples of the mistakes I made with this particular thing was Activision Blizzard, the company that it was one of the first companies I ever invested back in 2019 on September 24th or 23rd, something like that. So a long time ago. And as you can see, I actually sold that company just a few months later by the end of that year, because I saw that, you know, the stock price is not changing, the company is not really going anywhere, so why would I even bother keeping that stock? However, as you can see from this chart very clearly, that the stock price rose dramatically in that period of time, and I could have made over 60% of what I invested. And I actually invested $100, so I would have made just $60 just by holding that stock and doing literally nothing. So I missed out. I didn't have the strategy, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought that I made a couple of bucks and that's enough, and I would sell it because the stock is not moving. So if you choose a stock, please hold it for long term, because you never know when those gains are coming. Another mistake that I made was with MasterCard company. I actually bought that company at the same day I bought Activision, but then I sold it back around November. But here I got a bit lucky, because I bought back in a company when it was actually climbing through this whole pandemic going on around, and I bought back in May, basically at exactly the same price as I bought it a year ago. And now I'm seeing all of those 30% increased gains from this particular investment. So here I got a bit definitely lucky that I got the opportunity to invest back at the same rate as I invested before. And now it's not sort of a mistake, but this is actually what I did right, is holding on to a stock long enough for it to see incredible gains in the stock market. And there are two examples here. One is definitely Spotify. As you can see, I invested back in November as well, and it didn't really go anywhere, but then big news came out and the stock price just rose like literally 100%. So this is what it means buying and holding for long term. And then of course we have an example of Tesla. Tesla has been just crazy. I'm almost at 200% gains since I invested, and I actually invested at the peak. As you can see, I invested when the price was already $775 back in February. But I definitely believed in the company, and I thought it's definitely gonna rise even more. But at the time, a lot of people said that this is the peak, and from there the price can only go down. And I mean, look where we are now. Yes, the price did go down a little bit, but then it climbed very quickly up. Okay, so let's talk about my investment strategy, and you probably caught on to it a little bit if you've been listening. First thing in my investment strategy is buying and holding. So I'm not looking to day trade, I'm not looking for any short-term gains, and now I realize that I have the biggest potential if I invest consistently and if I hold long term. To be honest, before making this video, I didn't have the date set. I knew that I want to hold it for long term, but I didn't know if that's 2 years or if that's 20 years. But making this video, I kind of had to set some kind of a goal, and I did. I'm looking to hold this current portfolio with investing in it consistently for 5 years since my first investment. that means that actually 1 year has already passed and I have 4 more years left with this current portfolio. I don't know what actually I'm gonna do after 4 years, if I'm gonna just sell everything off or if I'm gonna leave it and continue investing, but at least for now it's very clear for me that I don't need to do anything, or I can't do anything with those money until that 4-year deadline. And setting that strict goal really makes it much more easier on yourself. You know that specific deadline, you know that goal, and now my mind is way more clear. As you can see from this video, I definitely had moments where I invested and I just sold it off after just 4 months of holding that particular stock. Now, with those 4 years ahead, anything that I buy, I need to be very precise that I know that the stock price will increase and that I'm gonna hold it for long term. Second, I only invest in companies I believe, follow, or use their products. For example, I own stock of Microsoft, and this is the company that actually, it's one of the big tech companies, and I actually read about it quite a lot on newsletters, on news, and I follow what's happening with it. Second is the companies that I believe in and I think that they cannot lose in long term and have a big growth potential. Example of these can be Tesla, which I really believe has an insane amount to grow, and it's basically Apple at the stage when it released iPhone, so there is much more growth to it. And you know, companies like MasterCard or Visa, those are both credit card and debit card providers, and I don't see digital payments or online payments or credit payments going anywhere. It's only accelerating. So I think these two biggest companies in those areas are definitely here to stay. And then of course the third category is the companies which products I actually use. And this one actually makes the most sense. If I'm really passionate about that product's companies or are used on a regular basis, I do believe there are a lot of people like me that also feel the same way about this company. A couple of examples of the stocks I own and products I use from companies like Apple, Spotify, Sony, Netflix. Third and final point of my whole investment strategy going forward is to diversify. And this is quite an important thing for me because 80% of the gains of those $700 profit that you saw is actually only from 3 companies: Apple, Spotify, and Tesla. If any of these companies' stock fell in price dramatically, I basically can lose up to 80% of the value I gain. So going forward, I definitely want to diversify into different industries, going on different companies, or just expanding the portfolio and having different amounts in different companies so that, you know, it kind of evens out and no one company is actually dominated in my stock portfolio. And that's currently it for my investment strategy. I want to keep it really simple, at least for now. But as you can see, over the year it actually evolved, so I do believe that over the next year and over the next 4 years it's gonna evolve the way I do things, and I may include more and more things and, you know, become a more sophisticated investor, so to speak. But for now, things are gonna be really simple and easy to understand because that's the way, you know, I like to do things, you know, as simple as possible. However, if you want more details about the investment strategy or about Revolut trading app in general, I actually made a video just a month ago about my investment strategy then, about my stock portfolio, how, you know, you can actually check and see how it changed over just a couple of months, and it has more details about the whole Revolut trading app. So I'm gonna link the video right here, or the link is in the description. But that's it for me. If you want to follow my journey and see how my portfolio performs over time, or grows, or even loses value over time, who knows what's gonna happen, consider subscribing down below and leaving a like on this video if you've watched so far and enjoyed the content. I have way more finance videos, investing videos coming along, and I do consider myself a beginner investor. So if you want to follow me and my journey and seeing how I sort of teach myself and how my investment strategy evolves over time, definitely consider subscribing down below. Also, if you have any comments about anything that I mentioned in this video, sort of not comments, but if you have any questions about anything that I mentioned in this video about Revolut trading, my investment strategy, more details, definitely comment down below. I'm quite active on the comment section, so please feel free to comment anything you want. But that's it for me. See you next time.